Sup, ladies and gentlemen, 23volt here, back to rants on something that I only found out recently because of the Switch presentation. Now, for those who have not seen a Switch presentation, go and have a look at it. You will see some great features of the the Switch, some great games that will be coming out, as well as just awesome news about it. It's coming out March 3rd. I'm super excited, already pre-ordering it, and I'm looking forward to this specific game, which, if you read the title of the video, is probably what I'm going to be talking about briefly. And hopefully I won't go too long about it. I'm just going to be ranting it. It's currently 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I just got off a Skype call with Jess, Glenn, and Judy, who we all watched the 1-hour Switch presentation together. All of us are excited, all of us are hyped. Me, personally, I'm personally hyped for Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, for those of you who do not know, the Warriors series, specifically Dynasty Warriors, is essentially the main series. It's a massive beat 'em up game where you play as a officer or a general in an army of ancient China, I think, or something like that. And you fight for your country or your faction, and you defeat these large waves of armies, complete objectives, blah blah blah. Now, recently Nintendo did a crossover or kind of a spin-off to the Dynasty Warriors series with Hyrule Warriors, which essentially it had the Dynasty Warrior formula of one character beating a shit ton of enemies out with these sick ass combos. But instead put Legend of Zelda characters. So you had Link, Zelda, you had Fi from Skyward, you had Midna from Twilight Princess, you had Ganondorf, and all villains as well, and some new characters such as Lana as well. So that game is actually pretty damn fun. I'm still actually yet to complete the whole thing because adventure mode is so farm heavy, but it is a freaking great game. But anyway, I'm going off topic here. But essentially, the presentation for the Switch has mentioned that there's going to be a new Warriors game, and that is going to be Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, I, for one, cannot be any more excited than I already sound, but hear me out, I'm tired. I just wanted to say this because I want to say this now, just because. Alright, everyone knows. If you don't know, here's what you know. Fire Emblem is my series. It's one of the very first games I played, aka Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Love it to bits. Loved the series from then on. And now they're making a game for which I always thought would be a great idea. Ever since Hyrule Warriors became a thing, I always told myself, what if Fire Emblem was like this? Fire Emblem have the weapons, the style, the potential to become a great Dynasty Warrior game. If you've seen Dynasty Warrior games, they wield these really wacky but cool weapons, some with these massive blades, swords, spears, axes. Some of specifically the females, they have these very unique weapons, I believe some of them use rings, another uses a fan, and it's quite insane to the many different possibilities that they did in Dynasty Warriors. They did it in Hyrule Warriors, where they did a lot of these different weapons that reference a lot of stuff in Legend of Zelda, and Link got a shit ton of weapons. And bringing it to Fire Emblem Warriors, I'm thinking it's just perfect. It feels right. But there are obviously concerns in terms of how they execute this, because obviously expectations are going to range differently from casual Fire Emblem players, new generation. I call it the new generation Fire Emblem, because really from Awakening further, I feel that is the new generation. And then you got the classic hardcore players such as myself, and ones who are die-hard fans of the series. And to be quite honest, I welcome the new generation a lot. I just want to make sure that the old isn't forgotten. This series wouldn't be here without the old. But again, I'm going off topic. So basically what I wanted to talk about briefly in this video is that, yes, Fire Emblem is getting a new spin-off game. It's going to be Fire Emblem Warriors, probably going to be called Emblem Warriors to make it sound a lot more niche and better, to keep with the whole something Warriors instead of just Fire Emblem. Emblem Warriors would be a good way to put it. And basically, this is what I think. Based off the trailer, we see 5 different swords. Now, originally, we saw Chrom's blade, we saw the Yato blade, and the very last one we saw Mart's. Now, the 3rd and 4th are the big important ones, because I'll probably go in a little bit more detail later on, but I'm going to say as much as I can right now, since I'm excited and hype and awake. But the 3rd and 4th swords, when I first saw them briefly, I thought they were the Soul Cardi from Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem 7, and I thought the 4th one would be somewhat similar to Ike's sword, the Ragnar. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Looking back at them, they are clearly Ryoma's Raijinto from Fire Emblem Birthright, and Fire Emblem Conquest's Xander's Siegfried. So essentially we have 2 falchions, Yato, Siegfried, and Raijinto, spanning from Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates, and the original Fire Emblem game. So with those 5 swords being presented, we can already assume that those characters and characters from those games / faction will be shown in Fire Emblem Warriors, or Emblem Warriors. I've got to get used to calling it Emblem Warriors because I feel like that's what it's going to be called later on. This is already concerning. Now hear me out. I am not saying, I'm not going to be like a major hipster and saying, oh, this game's going to be shit because it doesn't have all the, the other characters from Fire Emblem 6, 7, and 8, and Ike is not in it. Where's Ike from Smash Bros? And if anyone says that, please know where Ike is from. Please. I have never played any of Ike's actual Fire Emblem games, but at least I know he's from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Anyway, off topic. So, basically, with these 5 swords, we've confirmed that Fate's Awakening and the original Fire Emblem are going to be mentioned, or at least referenced, in this spin-off game. That being said, I am highly concerned that it's going to be just them. Obviously it's a Fire Emblem game, I'm going to love it regardless. I'd just be slightly disappointed if none of the other characters, especially from Fire Emblem 7, because, it's Fire Emblem 7, that was the first Fire Emblem game to ever be released outside of America, or outside of Japan. The first time the world actually gets to see what Fire Emblem is. And to see a little bit of love from that series would be great. Now, my personal favorite is Sacred Stones, so seeing Erika and Ephraim in the game would be, it would be my dream come true. Seeing something Sacred Stones related would make me a happy person. Again, off topic. So that's one major concern. Secondly, 55 seconds? Really? 55 seconds? That's all we're gonna get? Now, I know the game's probably in development right now, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a release title, because it's going to be a fairly big game. But, yeah, so we don't really get a lot. We get to see some of the swords, so we obviously know who's going to be in it. And we see Chrom at the beginning, who's just pulling his sword out of the ground. We know it's Chrom because of the build. Could be Lucina. It could have been Lucina, but we saw for the top half of the armor, so it's definitely Chrom. But now, going to that point, it's now the question of how is this game going to work? In Dynasty Warriors, the game, I believe, don't quote me too hard on it. I've played Dynasty Warrior games with Glenn. He's the one who owns the majority of those games, and I play with him whenever I'm over at his house or whatever, when we usually just playing together. The Warriors games, I usually play with them. I don't own any. Hyrule Warriors is technically the only Dynasty Warrior game, or Dynasty Warrior related game I technically own. because I only own Nintendo. In any case, he essentially, how do I say this? When we play it, the story was always based off like you pick a faction, you go through their view of the story of throughout, like the real legit story of throughout history, and you see how they win their battles, their fights, and see how epic, you know, these skirmishes were and how they resulted. And if this team won, what would happen? Like, these are like what if scenarios and such. So you'd play, it's like, think of it in terms of Fire Emblem knowledge, like you have Birthright and Conquest. It's essentially that. You play for one side and you see what happens if that side wins. In Hyrule Warriors, it wasn't necessarily like that. It was in terms of the campaign, it was pretty linearly driven. So you play as the main heroes of light, such as Link, Zelda, and Impa, and you go through that story. Like, you go through story, you get new allies from other games, or like other Zelda games, and from there, it just all comes together, and then, you know, everyone fights this one boss, blah 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 blah, yeah, and it's a linear story that just ends, right? With Fire Emblem Warriors, though, what kind of story do you think we can come up with here for these epic heroes of lore to actually, like, to make the campaign of Emblem Warriors like good, or like a thing? Like, I'm not saying, like, theoretically this is a very unlikely. If they were to take the Dynasty Warrior approach and have the 3 different game factions, which would be Fates, Awakening, and the original Marth game, to be like, but like taking control of the land, which doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously these characters can meet up because of the Outrealm thing, the whole how Fire Emblem has this Outrealm thing where, like, people from all eras can come together and meet up, and somehow their babies, like, grow faster, and then their babies meet their parents, who are pretty much like the same age, yada yada yada. But pretty much, you got to realize that I feel like the story, Glenn mentioned it, and he said that it would be similar. Well, he didn't say it specifically, but I'm going to interpret it. He's saying it's going to be similar to Hyrule Warriors in a sense that it's going to be very linear, as well as it's probably going to be played in different arcs if those characters are going to be a thing. Or if it's going to be very similar to Dynasty Warriors, where you start off as Chrom, because Awakening is seen to be the most futuristic Fire Emblem. There was evidence in the DLC of Fates where Chrom is like, you're blah 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 Hoshido and Nor from the blah 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 books of lore, and it's like apparently Fates is history to Awakening. So with that being said, Chrom and his party, which will probably consist of, let's say, him, Lucina, Robin. Who would the next one be? I'm thinking, I don't know if Lissa and Frederick would be in there. I feel like Frederick should. I'm feeling like they should, but like, how does Lissa fight? Like, I don't see Lissa actually fighting anything. Because again, there's only going to be a select few characters. Because putting characters in Dynasty Warriors is kind of strange. I mean, if you see Dynasty Warriors, there's a shite ton of characters. A lot of them. Hyrule Warriors, on the other hand, it's more like weapons are the characters of the game. Like, yeah, you can play any character in Hyrule Warriors, but characters can only use specific weapons. Dynasty Warriors, you can play any character and you can use any weapon. Obviously, each character in Dynasty Warriors have preferred weapons, but they can legit use any weapon. In Awakening, or not in Awakening, in Emblem Warriors, I feel like they can do the Dynasty Warrior route, because, for example, Crom, as a Great Lord, if he's going to be a Great Lord, he can use swords and lances. So already right there, that just shows that the potential of, hey, these characters can use other items as well. So, and in Dynasty Warriors, you can hold 2 items and switch between them. Just like in Fire Emblem, you could probably hold more. Well, it's probably best if they hold 2, but they can hold 2 items and just switch. And just think about it. It sounds like a freaking great idea. But wait, where was I? Sorry, again, it's late at night. I'm trying to think. So I was at the story here. All right. That being said, there is one thing. So with Crom and his friends, they're going to be the main characters of the story, and obviously the Outrealms are somehow going to get all the Fates characters in, and all the freaking, what do you call it? Fates and the original Fire Emblem characters in. So, like, and who are they fighting is another question. Because here's the thing: if you have good people, who are the villains? And therefore, the villains would also be needing consideration. Like, you can think of all the good people all you want. You got to realize that some of the villains, they're going to be needed as well. Example: King Garen. He's a good solid choice to be a playable character in Emblem Warriors. Garneth is also a fairly good choice, because he's a mage. He can work like Wizro did in what do you call it, Hyrule Warriors. And so Garneth Awakening, with semi-spoilers if you haven't played Awakening. Turn away now if you don't care for it at all. Oh, actually, no, let me say that again. If you do not want to be spoiled about Awakening, please skip maybe 30 seconds ahead, and you won't have to hear this major spoiler. So please skip to 18 minutes. Basically, with the whole Grima being a thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that for Robin as well. Like, having Robin being there as like the main villain. But hey, you never know. It just happens. It happens, right? So yeah. Alright, so now we're at 18 minutes now. Yeah, I feel as if there's so much potential that Fire Emblem Warriors can do. Say, from the story, from the characters, from the music. Oh, the music. Dynasty Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors soundtrack is pretty good. The Hyrule Warriors soundtrack, and it's Dynasty Warriors just with the Zelda feel to it. I am extremely looking forward to what kind of soundtracks we can expect for Dynasty Cross Emblem. Like, it would sound absolutely amazing, to the point where I'd probably legit just buy all the CDs that would come up with it. Like, I've got a good feeling in my heart that it would be. I mean, have you seen Tokyo Mirage Sessions? Like, those freaking pop songs were pretty sick, I will admit. Not Fire Emblem related at all, but they're pretty nice. Good job, Atlas. Again, off topic. I have about a minute. I want to get, maybe 20 minutes would be a good stopping point. What can I say that, but it's probably going to go to 30 minutes. Just watch. Let's see here. What can I just squeeze in for just a little bit of extra points, as I'm tired as hell. Okay. How about we talk about like possible characters that I would personally like to see. So obviously we know that Fates. I'm not going to talk about villains anymore. I already talked about them now. But in terms of Fates Awakening and the original Fire Emblem, obviously for the original Fire Emblem, I'm expecting to see Marth, Kata/Sheeta, possibly Merrick. I'm not sure if he was that significant to the plot. Either Merrick or Lind. If actually, Oh, no spoilers. Jagan, just cause lol. What else? Who else could we add in? Gordon, Drog. There's quite a few characters. Like any early main party Fire Emblem original characters. Those would be good choices. Navarre. Oh, Navarre would be sick. I don't really see any. There's not a good set of axe users in the original Fire Emblem. I mean, you get Board, Cord, and Bard. Was Board, Cord, and I can't remember the other guy. Shoot, I'm so sorry, dude. I don't remember your name. But yeah, that just shows that like those guys. They're like 3 generic fighters. Oguma, or whatever his name is, the mercenary, the first mercenary you can get. He would be a good choice as well. So yeah, I would gladly like to see those characters from the original in this one. And in terms of just like abilities and like attacking patterns, obviously we have Marth with his sword. You know, you have. Here's the thing: if Shida/Kata were to be an actual character, would they already be on their Pegasus? Because for those of you who don't know, Dynasty Warriors, you can ride on mounts, so like horses, right? But obviously you can be knocked off. You can be knocked off them, and once you do, you can ride back on them, or you can just beat the freaking stupid soldiers who got you off the horse, and then get back on your steed and just trottle along. But obviously in this case, Shida/Kata, any mounted unit, they always stay on their mount. I mean, nowadays that's changed, considering that you can class change now, so maybe it might not be that big strange of a thing. It's just that it's going to be strange seeing Kata/Shida off her Pegasus if she's no longer like on it and just doing these cool, wicked combos, who probably involve her Pegasus later on, but I don't know. Again, these are just random possibilities. Who else do we have? I mean, we have Drog, who's like a massive, like, heavy knight. We have Gordon with his bow. That would be kind of sick. We have Merrick or Lind. Both of them use magic, so magic combos would be cool. Navarre with his speed. Ogma with his pretty balanced but very strong and precise swings with his sword. It's such good potential with that section. But again, I probably need to play Shadow Dragon again just to remember their characters. I mean, I know Shadow Dragon isn't really a great Fire Emblem game. Oh, yeah, you can tell I'm tired. I know it's not really a great Fire Emblem game, but you can tell that it was the original, because it brought back the original game for us people to understand where Marth was from, which I'm okay with that. Next, we have to talk about. Let's go with Fates. So, with Fates, we obviously Corrin has to be in it. Male or female? Ooh, that does bring a problem. I personally think it's going to be the female Corrin, and on Crom's side, it's going to be the male Robin. Now, I have a feeling that in like any adventure or free play mode, you can switch the gender of the Corrin or the Robin. If there was going to be a campaign, however, I feel like female Corrin will be picked, and then it's going to be male Corrin as the main one for Awakenings one, but we'll go into that one a little bit in a sec. So I feel as if female Corrin is definitely going to be in it. Xander, because his sword isn't there, and not Takumi, Ryoma will also be in there. Takumi being said, I feel like majority of the royals will be in the game as playable characters, and then the retainers would be kind of the sub officers that would be involved in it. Here's the good thing about Fire Emblem though, because say they're not like a specific character such as Xander or Ryoma who have specific weapons. If you have characters like Hinata and who's the other sword master? Oh, who's the other girl? Hana, I think her name was. Hinata and Hana. Wow, their names are pretty damn close together, aren't they? Yeah, if you have those characters who are both the same class, it's not a lot of coding in terms of like making like different movesets. Like you can just have them being their own separate character and have the same moves because they are the same class, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, like they do that for Dynasty Warriors. They legit essentially give the weapon the mobile set. It doesn't matter what gender you are, what personality you have. If you in Dynasty Warriors, whatever weapon you hold will dictate the combos you do, the act, like the moving animation, the standing animation, and all that stuff. So, you know, it's there. But so much to do. Like, there's so many characters that have the right to be in it. But in terms of most likelihood, it's definitely going to be, Corrin, all the royals, so the four, I guess I'll go through the names, Ryoma, Takumi, Hinoka, Sakura, and Xander, Leo, Camille, and Elise. I'm also going to say Azura's going to be in it, and then a bunch of the retainers. I feel like there's going to have to be a ninja, specifically Kaze. Kaze is probably the most important ninja in the game, so I can see him being in it. Sorry, I'm holding the mic closer to me, and sometimes it's dangling around, so you might not hear me as well. I'll try my best to make sure it's here. But yeah, that's what I personally think happens, and that fates would include. And then finally we'll go to Awakening. Now this is probably one that I really want to focus on because I love Awakening. Let's see, Awakening. So Chrom is definitely going to be a shoe-in. Robin, male Robin specifically, because I feel like the male Robin is more known as opposed to the female one. That's why I feel like the female Corrin is more known than the male Corrin, but hey, these are just personal preferences. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if Lissa was in it. I don't know how Lissa would fight though, because she is a cleric. If she was a war cleric who wielded axes, then hey, that would be probably really cool, because it would be one of the first time we actually see axes ever used by anybody. So, by all means, use Lissa all you want. So Lissa's done. Who else can we choose? Why am I... Frederick is a good choice. He's pretty standard. The big bad boy himself. Frederick. Okay, anyway. So yeah, so Frederick, Lissa, Lucina, Chrom, Robin are definites. Personally, I can see... Ooh, on the evil side, I can see the Conqueror. Forgot his name. So poor of me to forget his name. I can see him being in there. I can see Gangrel being an opposing person as well in the game. In terms of characters who can possibly be like used, I would love to see Sully and Stahl in there. Get some more Cavaliers in the fray. Some magic units, so Muriel and Riken would be good. Bow unit, Virion would be fantastic to have. Like I said, there's such a massive cast of characters that you can't just... it's the thing. It's either they make them generic, specifically those who aren't like main characters. So all the royals in Fates, all the main characters in the original and main characters in Awakening, they can all have their own specific combos with their weak, strong attacks, whatever. But then it's either they do that, or they do, if they're going to include generic, like subordinate characters that have specific classes that's just like skinned differently, then boom, by all means go ahead. I think the main problem would just be if they're going to do that, the amount of like dialogue that they also have to do, it's going to be insane. I can really go on for hours and hours, but it's already half an hour's gone by, and I've probably maybe 5 total minutes were just me trying to stay awake and just thinking about what to do. But I'll try to start ending it off now. So personally, super duper excited about Fire Emblem Warriors. It's a genius idea that should have been an idea to start. Now, I don't know what else can Fire Emblem can become now. It's really become everything. It's been part of its own game. It's handled time travel. It's been in Smash Bros. A lot. Have you seen how many characters there are in Smash Bros. Of Fire Emblem? How happy it makes a Fire Emblem fanboy feel. Feels great. What else is there? They've reached pop idols now. Legit. And now they're going to be reaching the Dynasty area, or the Dynasty Warrior era. And that would be fun. They're also in Project Cross Zone, so they're in it's in a game that they probably never knew these people prior to anything. Which I will be playing Project Cross Zone 2, eventually, because of it. So yes, Dynasty Warrior, no, Fire Emblem Warrior, or Emblem Warriors is what I'm gonna probably guess it's gonna change its name to. Definitely gonna get it immediately. Gonna play it exactly as is. By that time, I might actually have by that time an actual, what do you call it? A game capture card for myself. By that time, hopefully, specifically for home console games, I probably won't have a 3DS capture card, because I don't think that's really possible unless you're a genius at it, but I'm not. But yeah, when I get it, I'll play it immediately. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's very popular right now. The only concern, and Intelligent Systems, please, you must listen to us. The only concern is that the characters, because that's gonna be so staple to this game. The characters you choose will probably determine whether the game will be liked by the community or not. Because if you choose primarily Fate's Awakening and just Marth's game, and just leave out Lynn, Eliwood, Hector, Erika, Roy, Ephraim, Ike, you leave all those characters out, you've lost a big chunk, or you've lost a chunk of a big set of audience, and you've really only focused this game on the new generation. Which, again, I got nothing against the new generation, just that I would personally think that, they deserve these characters that aren't in Awakening and such, or that aren't they're in Awakening in terms of the DLC, but they don't get talked at all in Fates or whatever. I just personally think that all Fire Emblem games deserve to be mentioned in this one, at least in this one, because Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it was understandable. Those characters, the characters you chose for that, they were fine. Because they were fairly known characters, all very likable, and I had nothing against the cast, because it wasn't a big cast. Emblem Warriors is going to be Dynasty, it's probably going to be a Dynasty Warrior version of it. And I mean, like, you're going to have a shit ton of characters. Which means, please open your mind to some of the older games. To be quite honest, I haven't even played any of those older games. So, even I would be excited to see these characters I never knew. I'm probably a very rare case, because if people see these characters that they don't know, and they'll obviously play like characters they'll know, such as like maybe like Long Q or Charlotte or freaking, like I said, Hana, like any of those characters that they know and they will play, they will just straight up play it, and then they'll just completely ditch these characters that they don't know. Me personally, I would love to see these characters that were only in Japan that get there, and even if it's in DLC, just show some love to the whole series as opposed to the new generation. There's much more to Fire Emblem than romance, even though yes, that is a pretty big thing, because it's exciting to see relationships being made in your army. But you know, I would love to see a lot of characters in it, like a variety of characters from different games. That's it. That's my 2 cents on it. I'll probably come back to this again when more news comes out to it, but other than that, I'm 23 Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about Fire Emblem Warriors. I am exhausted. I'm excited. And I'm immediately getting Switch. I'm immediately getting the Switch. I'm also probably going to talk about that maybe sometime later, but I'm really looking forward to a majority of the games. Again, this is mainly focused on the Fire Emblem Warriors, but in any case, it's been fun. I like it. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know when it's going to be released, but I want to know more. So Nintendo, Intelligent Systems, and the people who make Dynasty Warriors, I really wish I knew your names, but I forget them off the top of my head. So, please, be smart. If you're only doing a small cast like Hyrule Warriors, that's fine. But just have characters, or the lords, from other games too. And then it's a perfect game. Thank you, and good night to me. I'm so tired. What's the time now? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. God damn it.